In 1960, when Domino's Pizza first opened, the entire day sale was just only $14. But who knew that a boy selling newspaper who had neither the support of his father or mother would one day own more than 20,000 pizza outlets. However, this victory against circumstances was anything but straightforward. The pizza store started from borrowed money, faced numerous challenges on its journey to success. Sometimes partner would leave, sometimes all saving would be lost to a fraud, and sometimes betrayal would strike. Moreover, the name on which the store was opened belonged to someone else. Millions of dollars in court cases and scandals and viral videos threatened the reputation that the owner of Domino's had built over the years. This is the story of Thomas Morgan, who faced all these challenges and built a billion-dollar empire from scratch. Thomas was born on March 25, 1937, in a middle class family in Michigan. His father worked as a truck driver but still struggled for the money, and his mother worked as a nurse. At just 4 years, his father passed away, and his mother, unable to support the children, she handed Tom and his brother Jim to the government for 7 years. Tom's childhood was filled with hardships. He saw neither the father's sports or the mother's love, only the strictness of government foster care and boarding school. He barely passed high school and struggled to get into Michigan University, but even then, he could not afford the tuition fee. Life kept throwing challenges at him, and eventually he started delivering newspaper from door to door. This is where he began to learn the basic of business and saved every penny he could. In 1959, Thomas' brother Jim approached him with an idea that could change their lives. Jim worked as a postman but also took a part-time job at a restaurant owned by a man named Dominic DeVarty. Dominic was looking to sell one of his closed restaurants for a low price. He demanded $500 but with the condition that the buyer would also have to take the restaurant's 200 debit. When Jim brought this news to Thomas, they decided to buy the restaurant and work together. They borrowed $900 from the post office and bought the restaurant for Dominic without changing its name. In return, Dominic gave them some recipes and taught them how to make sauce. They decided to open the restaurant from 5 p.m. to midnight so that Thomas could continue his university studies. They officially opened the restaurant on 9 December 1960 and made $14 sale on the first day. In the first week, they did not even have a phone, meaning all customers had to come to the restaurant themselves. Later, they started a delivery service hiring two factory workers on commission. 4 months later, their daily sales reached $107, mostly thanks to a nearby college. When the college semester ended, sales dropped to $28. Jim spent very little time at the restaurant because of his post office job. Even when sales dropped and leading to dispute between the brothers, and eventually after 6 months, Jim left the restaurant, but the idea of the restaurant was his. Thomas bought out Jim's 50% share by giving him a Volkswagen they had bought for pizza deliveries. Jim happily took the car, not realizing the great deal he was giving up. Now, Tom was the sole owner of the restaurant, but it meant he had to work full time, leaving his university dreams behind. He stayed at the restaurant for days, surviving on burnt pizza. Slowly, sales began to rise again, and he hired two helpers, bringing daily profit to $57. In his spare time, Thomas visited other pizza stores and conducted market research. During this period, he befriended the owner of an Italian restaurant who gave him famous sauce recipe. Applying this recipe, customers loved the sauce. Sales started rising again. Someone suggested he open another branch. For that, Thomas needed a partner to run the first branch, as his brother was no longer with him. Eventually, Thomas founded a partner, but this partner would ruin all his hard work. One day, a man named Jim Gilmore came to Dominic, and Tom recognized him as he as a well-known owner of a restaurant. They discussed the restaurant business, and Thomas shared his plan to open a new branch. Since Gilmore had experience for running a restaurant, they struck a deal. Gilmore would get a 50% share in the business for $500 and run the first branch. However, Gilmore said he did not have the $500 at the moment and he would pay later. Despite for a partner, Tom agreed. Gilmore became a 50% partner in Dominic without any down payment and never paid Tom the money later. Tom opened his second branch and handled the first one over the Gilmore. Soon, Tom realized his mistake as sales and pizza quality at the first branch declined, and he suspected Gilmore of stealing money from the cash drawer. Gilmore had run two restaurants in the city before, but had gone bankrupt twice due to his drinking habit. Tom thought he had reformed, but he hadn't. Additionally, the agreement Gilmore made with Tom had some clever clauses that made a Gilmore a partner only in profit, while Tom would bear all the losses. Now, Tom was spending time of both branches while Gilmore worked whenever he liked. Tom tried several times to end up the agreement, but legal issues prevented him from getting rid of Gilmore. Eventually, the matter went to court, and Tom's partnership with Gilmore ended, but Tom had to bear the losses alone. However, this did not mean all Tom's problems were over. The next conflict about the name Tom was using for his business, Dominic Tivarti. When Dominic saw that Tom was running two restaurants under his name and making good sales, he became professionally jealous. Dominic, who was running his own restaurant in the city, was confused by customer due to the similar name. He called Tom and demanded he stop using his name. The news struck Tom like lightning because he had put his heart and soul into promoting this name. Changing the name suddenly mean all Tom's hard work would go to waste. Someone suggested he choose a name similar to Dominic's because at that time people look up number in phone book and a similar name would appear on Dominic page. For several days, Tom and his team brainstormed names similar to Dominic. Finally, a pizza delivery driver suggested the name Domino's. Tom liked the name very much, and from that day, he started operating under the name Domino's. Changing the name meant they also had to change the logo. So they simply used a domino tile as their logo with three dots representing their three stores at that time. Thomas' pizza business now had a new name. He worked hard to improve recipes and make the business profitable. But Domino's real growth started with an unusual incident. One day, several restaurant staff members took leave simultaneously. In response, Tom removed extra items from the menu and served only pizza. That day, Domino's made the most profit. They realized that a larger menu only increased workload while a smaller menu generated more profit. From that day onward, Domino's menu was simplified, focusing only on pizza with just two sizes, 8 inches and 12 inches. Additionally, Tom noticed that offering dining facilities required extra staff, increasing cost and reducing profit. Tom had now spent 7 years in the business and Domino's was growing rapidly compared to other restaurants in 1967. New stores were opened near colleges and military bases where pizza demand was usually higher. Instead of spending on mainstream media advertising, they placed ads in college newspaper which were cheaper and more effective. Within the next 2 years, 32 Domino's branches were opened. Initially, there were quality issues, but they were later resolved. By the end of 1969, a total of 42 stores were opened in Michigan, Vermont, and Ohio. And by 1978, more than 200 Domino's outlets were open across the United States. Domino's success seemed unstoppable, but then an incident occurred that caused significant damage. In 1980, everyone was crazy about Domino's delivery service. Seeing this, Pizza Hut and other competitors also start focusing on delivery, meaning Pizza Hut wanted to compete directly with Domino's. Started marketing that if a pizza wasn't delivered within 30 minutes, it would be free. This strategy skyrocketed Domino's sales. This campaign helped Domino's grow even more. By 1980, while Domino's had 200 branches in the US globally, they reached 5,000, making it the fastest growing restaurant chain in the world at that time. In 1989, a 17-year-old Domino's delivery driver crashed with truck while rushing to deliver pizza and died on the spot. It became apparent that driver was speeding and violating traffic rules for quick delivery service. This news quickly gained attention in national magazine, highlighting that there had been 20 accidents in a year due to Domino's fast pizza delivery. In another incident, a driver ran a car over the couple, resulting in the wife's immediate death, Domino's had to pay a fine of $32 million. These incidents led to several criticism of Domino's delivery service. This campaign that had propelled Domino's to success was now a burden. At that point, Tom finally announced the end of 30-minute delivery service. Tom sold Domino's in 1998 for $1.1 billion.